You quit your job. Does that mean you're leaving me? No, that's not true. Becoming independent is like changing jobs. It doesn't mean there's no money coming in. You're going independent. Are you kidding me? That won't work. Then you should go independent from me too. Huh? Get divorced. I'm talking about divorce. I won't support an unemployed person. I'm Bella, 40 years old, and I've been working while raising my child. I took a break from work when my daughter was born, but was fortunate to be rehired by my former employer when she started elementary school. I primarily work from home, and my daughter is now in 6th grade. With my daughter growing up and becoming more independent, I feel it's the right time for me to explore new career opportunities. My husband is also 40 years old. When we got married, he was a successful salesman with promising earning potential. However, he changed jobs 3 years ago in pursuit of a higher salary, but things haven't turned out as expected. In reality, his income has decreased, and he faces longer work hours with fewer benefits compared to his previous job. My family hails from the countryside, where my daughter has observed my parents working in the fields since she was a young child. Whenever we visit, she enjoys helping out on the farm, and my parents cherish these moments with their grandchild. However, my husband has a strong aversion to the countryside and refuses to visit my parents' house with me for any reason. I'm planning to spend a week at my parents' place. What about you? I have work to do, so no thanks. I have a project that's coming to an end. I see, understand that. I knew from the beginning that my husband wouldn't come, but we are family for a change. Even if you know he's not coming, you still have to ask. When my daughter and I leave my parents' house, my husband calls me every day. There's nothing wrong with this contact if it's to show his love or concern, but my husband contacts me about trivial matters. What should I eat today? Why did you just eat the leftovers in the fridge? I don't feel like it. Then why don't you cook something yourself? What? Why should I? I'm tired. Yes, you've worked hard. Where's my change of clothes? It's all folded up in your usual drawer. Wow, what's with the folding? Cutting corners? Well, you're on your own. My husband behaved this way the entire time I was at my parents' house, so I mostly ignored my husband's calls and messages. He doesn't like it when my daughter and I visit my parents' house. Every time we return home, the house is full of clutter. Mom, can we go to Grandpa's house? Dad always leaves the rooms so messy. Yes, he does. Why do you always clean up the mess, Mom? He's the one who makes the mess, right? Shouldn't he clean up after himself? Of course he should. My daughter is also disappointed with my husband's attitude. Even though we enjoy visiting Grandpa's house, she dislikes returning home because it's always so messy. Yes, Mom hates it too. Hey, can we stay at Grandpa's house? Grandpa and Grandma must have a hard time working in the fields. I wish I could help them. Thank you. Grandpa and Grandma would like that. My daughter's kindness contrasts sharply with my husband's selfish behavior. I'm just tired of his childish ways. After our long vacation, I'm returned to my company to discuss the details of my annual health review. My daughter's comments inspired me to make a suggestion to the president. Why don't we leverage our software to modernize and digitize agriculture? Well, that's a field other companies have been involved in for quite some time. The president is right. It's an industry that has been established internationally for decades. Japanese companies have been exploring new agribusiness models for the past decade or so. With the patents we hold, I believe we can make a successful entry. We already have potential partner farmers willing to collaborate with us for a pilot project. I see. Can you prepare a proposal in the meantime? Of course I can. I promptly approached my parents with the idea, and they both readily agreed. My daughter was enthusiastic about helping her grandparents, who were working tirelessly. She presented me with a fantastic business opportunity. A month after the proposal, my project received approval, and from then on, I worked tirelessly. I had concerns about my aging parents, and if this project succeeded, I hoped it could provide them with much-needed support and assistance. However, my husband was relentless in his efforts to dampen my enthusiasm. You've been acting a bit distant lately, haven't you? I don't like it. Oh, really? Am I coming across that way? I'm not aware of it. Your demeanor is just a downer. Well, it's unfortunate that it's affecting your mood. Then, don't be in my line of sight. I knew exactly what my husband was trying to do. He wanted to bring me down and make me feel bad, and he was succeeding. I did feel down, just as he wanted. However, I refused to show it on my face. I maintained my composure, spoke in a neutral tone, and treated him as I always had. For some reason, he had always been like this. Whenever I seemed too happy or enthusiastic about something, he would go out of his way to hurt me emotionally. I had grown accustomed to it over time and chose not to engage. But he didn't like that approach. Huh? I can't just avoid looking at you. We live together. That's not entirely true. You can always stay in your room. I'm perfectly capable of managing my job and taking care of our daughter. In fact, if you were self-sufficient, we wouldn't need to have any contact at all. That's not what I meant, my husband shouted, leaving me furious. The idea of divorcing my husband had crossed my mind, but I was unsure of how to approach it with our daughter. I couldn't make up my mind, and since I didn't react to his words, my husband's last resort was to criticize my parents, particularly the farmers. Maybe your inability to see beyond the words is due to your rural upbringing. He's really acting like a child. I try to maintain my composure, but when he brings up my parents, it really gets under my skin. However, this time I'm keeping a cool head. For the first time, a project I had proposed and eagerly wanted to work on was approved. I'm highly motivated, and my husband's irritation isn't bothering me much. So you think I can't handle my job because I grew up in the city? That's crossing the line. Yes, that's precisely what I'm telling you. Don't be unreasonable. No, you started it. We've been arguing a lot lately. He used to be such a nice person, but things changed just before he switched jobs. My husband and I weren't getting along, but my career was on the upswing. A few months later, I left my job. After discussing it with the company, I chose to resign and sign a licensing agreement with my current employer, opting for independence. I had informed my husband about this decision earlier, but it seemed he hadn't paid attention. As soon as I left the company, he informed me that he wanted a divorce. You quit your job. Does that mean you're leaving me? No, that's not true. Independence is more like a career change. It doesn't mean money won't be coming in. You're going to be independent? Are you kidding me? That won't work. Then become independent from me. Huh? Get divorced. I'm talking about divorce. I won't support an unemployed person. My husband's words left me momentarily speechless. The thought of divorce had crossed my mind, but I was hesitant, mostly because of our daughter. Mom, get a divorce. My daughter, who was supposed to be asleep, suddenly appeared at the living room door. My husband seemed taken aback for a moment, trying to explain that it wasn't his fault. But my daughter had made up her mind, and she was resolute in her decision. Are you sure? I asked, seeking confirmation. Yes, I am sure. I want you to get a divorce. I don't like him. He always says bad things to you, Mom. Don't tell me you won't get a divorce. I want you to get a divorce right now. Let's go live with Grandpa and Grandma. Thank you, but you'll have to change schools. Are you okay with that? I inquired. Yes, I'm totally fine. Then let's go. You won't have to talk to Dad anymore, okay? Yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess that's it. We'll talk details later. I turned my back on my husband, who was still ranting and raving, and left the house with my daughter. Once we were at my parents' house, my daughter appeared more relaxed. Despite my initial concerns, she transitioned well to her new school in the new semester and seemed to be enjoying it. After my daughter was settled, my husband and I had another discussion about divorce. He mentioned that he wouldn't pay alimony because he considered me too naive. Normally, if it were my fault, you would be the one asking for alimony, but you haven't mentioned it. Do you even understand what fault means? I'll be the one asking for alimony, and you'll have to pay it. What? Because you're at fault? Exactly. It's your responsibility. You're the one who's unemployed and lacks knowledge. How can you not be responsible for this? You didn't do anything, that's the problem. You didn't contribute to taking care of the house or our daughter. I was the one pulling the weight, and I was the one who found out about your affair. You're friends with Quinn, aren't you? You're covering up for her. What? I placed the evidence of my husband's infidelity right there on the table. What? How did you get all this? You didn't steal my phone, did you? You're being rude. Excuse me? The one being rude here is you. You're a married man. What on earth were you thinking? And I didn't gather this evidence. It was our daughter. What? She's the one who collected all this. After we separated, our daughter informed me that she had seen you walking arm in arm with a woman she didn't know and that she used my laptop to sync your phone. She showed me the data and encouraged me to get a divorce. She said she hates you. She hates that you're her father, so I can divorce you without a second thought. I can't believe you exposed your daughter to those pictures of you. You're a terrible father. With all the evidence I have, there's no point in making excuses. Furthermore, your new job resulted from another affair, and you're supposedly paying alimony to your former affair partner's husband. I even found out that you lied about taking a pay cut. I've done my research. After sharing all of this with him, my husband, whose head was held high, lowered his gaze. I'm proud to have such a talented daughter. I would like my daughter to take over my company in the future if she wants to. Excuse me, let's not go down that path. Let's not get divorced. You don't want to be unemployed either, do you? No, I'm not quitting my job. Besides, you're the one who's in trouble. If you don't pay alimony and child support on time, I'll have no choice but to take the matter to your workplace and make everything public. Hey, if you do that, I might lose my job. Well, maybe it's time for you to start looking for a job again. You'll regret this for the rest of your life. My husband sobbed and pleaded for help, but I just smiled and brushed him off. After that, my husband was reluctant to sign the divorce papers, so I hired a lawyer and left the legal matters to him. In less than 2 weeks, we were officially divorced. My husband didn't want to incur any more legal expenses. He had to deal with 2 alimony cases and child support payments, and hiring a lawyer would have pushed him closer to financial ruin. Eventually, my ex-husband scraped together enough money to pay both alimony and child support in a lump sum. It left him in debt, and he made sure to inform me of his financial woes. He tried to make me feel sorry for him, but I remained unmoved. When I also filed for alimony from his cheating partner, it led to a major fallout between my ex-husband and the cheater. The cheater was furious and questioned why she had to pay alimony, but eventually, she begrudgingly paid the agreed-upon amount. She had to borrow the money from her parents. I heard that she returned to the countryside to help with her family's business so her parents could keep a close eye on her. My husband couldn't afford the rent for his apartment anymore, so he had to move to a shabbier one. Meanwhile, my business thrived, and I enjoyed each day to the fullest. Even though things didn't work out with my husband, I'm grateful that the knowledge and skills I acquired have proven valuable for my family's farming business. My parents are thrilled that the IT system has significantly reduced their workload and working hours. The credit goes to my daughter, who became our tech-savvy savior. I had to provide her with a smartphone and tablet when she was still in elementary school, which faced some resistance, but she's been using them effectively. While her favorite place remains the fields, she's starting to show interest in my work. Recently, she's been asking me to teach her how to create websites. I'm excited about her future. She's an exceptional 12-year-old. However, it saddens me that she had to witness the less admirable side of her father. I hope the adults in her life will take good care of her. Your mother is absolutely right, and I'm eagerly looking forward to what lies ahead for her.